Hello all, welcome back to our series on AngularJS for ServiceNow. Previously we learned about expressions and data binding. Today I'll explain about AngularJS directives. Firstly, what are directives? Directives are special instructions that enhance HTML view or widget by making them interactive and responsive to user actions. Let's begin with ng-init directive. This directive is essential for setting up initial variable values that can be utilized throughout the application. For instance, I am considering a div container element and initializing a variable with the help of ng-init. I am initializing a variable called name and giving its value in single quotes as ServiceNow. Let's run the code now. You can preview the output as ServiceNow. In this example, the ng-init directive assigns the value ServiceNow to the variable name. Consequently, the paragraph displays ServiceNow, demonstrating how the directive can initialize variables for use in HTML. ng-bind directive. It connects a specified expression to an HTML element, automatically updating the displayed content as the expression changes. For example, I am considering a div element, initializing a variable called message and its value as welcome to ServiceNow. Let's bind this message element within the paragraph element using ng-bind. You can preview the output as welcome to ServiceNow. Let's experiment further with a mathematical expression. I am binding a arithmetic expression like 10 by 2 and saving it. Output is 5. This evaluates the expression and render the output as 5. Now let's use the same expression within the curly braces. This also displays 5, confirming that both ng-bind directive and the curly braces syntax yield identical results. This similarity in output illustrates that they function in the same way by evaluating expressions and displaying their results seamlessly on the web page. ng-model allows you to bind the value of HTML form elements such as input fields, select boxes, and text areas to a variable in your application scope. This creates two-way data binding, meaning that changes made in the input field will automatically update the bound variable and the vice versa. Let's try out with a simple example. For that, take a variable called course. It's ServiceNow. I'm taking a input variable. And to access the variable called codes, here I am mentioning the variable name. To display the value, I am considering a paragraph element and binding its value within the double braces. You can preview the output here. Like ServiceNow, whatever the changes I am trying to modify in the input element, the same thing you can observe it is getting modified in the paragraph element too. Now let's have a look on ng-repeat directive. ng-repeat directive is used to iterate over collections such as arrays or objects to dynamically generate HTML content for each item. For instance, in the client script, I am initializing variable called names. First as John, then Janvi, then Madhu, then James, whatever the names you can. Now I have to access these names in the HTML view. So take an ordered list and let's list out one on one. For that we are using here ng-repeat. In this name in names, each name in names, binding in the double braces as name. It iterates over each element in the array and displays element one by one. You can preview in the output. Let's try out with the object as well. Give an object name called object, then take multiple values like name as Janvi, then location as France, occupation as developer. Let's access this object in the HTML view. For that, consider a div element. For that, I am taking a ng-repeat directive to iterate over each element and give our output. For the object, we have to take key, comma, value and in object. Mention the same variable name which you have given in the client script here. And list out what are the key value pairs we have by enclosing them in the double braces. Key as well as the value. What actually ng-repeat is doing is, it is iterating over each key value pair and displaying it over in the preview. If you found this tutorial informative and beneficial, please consider liking the video and subscribing for more in-depth tutorials on AngularJS. If you have any questions or feedback, don't hesitate to leave them in the comment section below. Thanks for watching.